Hi everyone. Thank you for joining our reading club tonight for this week. I think we can start now. It's 9:06 already. Is our guest speaker ready? Can we start now?
Hi, yeah,
Okay,
sure.
sure. All right. Hi everyone. So welcome to my reading club again, and we can start now. I will start by reading the house rules and then we'll start with the topic. Hi. Okay, so hi, welcome to Mao Reading Club. Mao, short for Monsters Among Us, is a group of youth that empowers children and survivors of child sexual abuse through a myriad of programs such as advocacy, education, and community involvement in hope to pave a safer way for childhoods. In line with the 2020 Sustainable Development Goals of quality education and gender equality, Mao Reading Club is an avenue for all youth in and out of Malaysia to discuss and ponder upon important issues relating to us. Treat this reading club as your safe space because we practice no judgments and prejudice towards anyone out there. For the purpose of ensuring our reading session to run smoothly while safeguarding everyone's comfort, Mao would truly appreciate it if we can adhere to the house rules below. First, respect. When you are not talking, please mute the microphone by turning it off so that the session will not be interrupted by weird noises. Mao wishes for everyone to please be respectful of others, especially in discussing a certain topic or subject. Please be mindful of others when they are speaking by interjecting politely, and we would appreciate it if everyone can join the session by using their names or nicknames so that we can properly address each other. 2. Participate and engage. We welcome everyone who wishes to speak up during the session, either by asking questions or sharing their inputs. We do not tolerate discrimination and harassment on one's sexual orientation, belief, and preferences. We reserve the rights to remove you from the club. We welcome differences in ideas, opinions, and views because we understand that each and every one of us has different foundations that shape us on how we see things. We also understand if you are not comfortable to speak by using the microphone, do type it out in the chat box. Everyone deserves to be heard, and this is a fun session. No one has to use huge jargons if you do not want to. And last but not least, consent and privacy. This session will be recorded. If any of you feel uncomfortable about it, please provide us with your feedback. Our YouTube channel will be our YouTube channel is attached with the link on our Instagram bio, so you can watch the past sessions there. And please ask first before you want to record anything from the session for whatever purpose. Some may be a camera shy, which is totally fine and understandable. Please do not quote anything from the session without getting permission from the sayer, and it is okay if you wish not to show your face by turning the video off because it is your face, so you get to choose whatever you want to do with it. And last but not least, enjoy the session to your heart's content. We hope everyone will get something from this session. So if you guys notice our poster for this week, our topic is not like any previous topic a few weeks ago. Um, the topic for today is related to our environment. So our guest speaker named Nur Dayana, and she is working with a company related to the reinsurance company, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And the topic will be risk management in climate change actions and how does the or insurance industry plays the lead. So without wasting any time, I invite our guest speaker, Nur Dayana, to take the session away.
Okay, thank you, Ashura. So, hello everyone. So, you can call me Diana. So, I've been working with a reinsurance company, Malaysian Re, named Malaysian Re. It's a national reinsurance company. Okay, for almost 2 years now. And then I graduated from UiTM Puncak Alam campus in Bachelor Business Administration, majoring in insurance. So basically, I have almost 2 years of working experience in reinsurance and risk management industry. So my goal for tonight is actually to share the experience of this hidden industry, which is the reinsurance industry. So maybe you can share with your siblings or your friends about this industry, because I think there's a lot of job opportunities in here, and it's very interesting because it is challenging. Okay, so before we start with our based on article today, so basically I prepared some slides with and then I'll be sharing slides and then also the articles. So maybe you can discuss from both source. Okay, wait, let me share the screen. Oh wait. Can you see my screen? No, right?
No, not yet.
Okay. How about now?
Okay, getting there.
Presenting.
Okay, yep, we can see now.
Okay. So first, can you see this one? Right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So basically, the latest, I think the most viral things that latest happening is the IPCC report. So it's related to this climate change. And I've been observing that a lot of advocates and also activists have been doing their parts on pushing the governments or any industries to on their parts to do their climate change actions. So for tonight, I'll be explaining or expose yourself for in the risk management field, and especially on the reinsurance industry. But before we start, I would like to explain on what is actually reinsurance industry, what is actually reinsurance, what is actually insurance. So because I think the Malaysian perspective on insurance is um we like the life insurance agents, right? Life insurance agents, and then yeah, things like that. So I want to know, I want to share with guys like there's actually a lot more on this industry behind that. Okay, so before that, wait. Okay, I'm not going to sell you any insurance products because I'm not in that line. So yeah, first of all, I'm sure you have heard of insurance or maybe Takafu. And so myself is in reinsurance company, which I'll be explaining in the next slide. So in insurance industry, we have like two pillars. I mean, two types. We have life and also general. In life insurance, we have health or and life insurance. In general, we have lots actually, and your car insurance for your property, maybe liability, your businesses, marine aviations, and now we have cyber. Okay, so for example, just an example. So this insurance or Takafu company, for example, this insurance company would like to has the capacity to cover their financial protection for two houses only. Maybe the value of these two houses is 100,000, for example, 50,000 each. So what if this company would like to provide protection for another two houses. I mean, the total four. So since this is like business, right? So they have to find a new strategy to cover all four houses, right? So that is where the reinsurance industry comes with. Okay, this one. So for example, for insurance company, they have the capacity on providing financial protections on for four houses. So okay, what if this insurance company would like to provide protections for eight houses. So for this, they can have two, and then this insurance company can have four. What will happen for another two? For example, like this. So this insurance company or Takafu, reinsurance company or Takafu. And then for the first two, yes, they can cover it. And then the other six, okay, maybe they will some sort of like a share proportion. So they will still have that kind of business. So they will ask for reinsurance company to transfer this kind of risk, whether you can help to provide protection for this, and also maybe 50-50%. Okay, it might be confusing. So for example, like the first two houses, insurance company will cover for the first two houses, and they would like to also to cover the next four houses, but they will have proportion, they will share this business to a reinsurance company, and then the reinsurance company will have the four houses, right? Since the insurance company able to protect only four houses, so they what about the other two? And then the insurance company has to share their risk to another reinsurance company. So this is what is actually happening in this industry, which people didn't see this. So the first two houses belongs to the insurance company, and another four will belong to reinsurance company. Another two houses belong to another reinsurance company. So these eight total houses is being protected. So this is what we call risk transferring. Okay, I'll be explaining more on this. Okay, hope you understand this. This is quite basic. Okay, so now it's on the risk management. Um, so this is like a traditional risk management technique they've been practicing for a long time. In risk management, we have four techniques. So first is avoidance, and then transfer, reduction, or accepting. So the avoidance is like we know it is a risk. We know that it is right, and we will try to totally avoid it. So for example, the simplest example I would say that, okay, maybe we have a Mercedes car, and then we know that if we park our car outside from our house, kita akan hilang, right? And then so we know it will happen, so we try to avoid that kind of risk, and then we park our car inside our house. That's why we call avoidance, risk management technique in avoidance. Next is transfer. So the transfer risk is referring to the insurance company. That's what I explained earlier. So the insurance company transfer, okay, for myself, like I bought a house and I know that this house might get burned down. And then if this house get burned down, what will happen to my house? So that is why I would like to transfer this risk in terms of to get the financial protections to a company organization which is called the insurance company. So that's why I transfer my risk of getting this burned down, financial protection to insurance company. That's why we call it transferring of the risk. The same goes to like the insurance company transfer the risk of the another four houses just now to another insurance company and so on. So that's what we call transferring of the risk. The next technique will be on reduction. So reduction is we reduce the risk. We know it's risk, and we need to accept it, and then we need to we know that if it is happen, if the risk happen, it's going to be huge loss. It's going to be huge loss in terms of any impacts, maybe to society, to our financial, to our health, to anything. So we would like to reduce the risk. So for example, like our house. Okay, maybe our neighborhood is prone to flood. So how we can actually reduce the water to enter to our house? So we build drains, right? For example, we build drains as a reduce the loss of so the water might not enter, totally not enter enter our house. Maybe like 80% is go to the drains, maybe another 2% enter to our house. So the loss is being minimized. Okay, the last one is setting or retention. Is basically we know basically it's the combination of these all techniques. So we know that that risk. So for example, like flood will happen, and then we accept it, and then we find strategy to minimize the risk. So maybe we can buy a protection from insurance. We can build drains, for example, and then we can the building codes, make sure our house is made from bricks, things like that. Okay, so this is the four basic risk management technique. The next I will go to the risk assessment metrics. Okay, the most important thing in this industry or risk management is these two terms, which is frequency and severity. So probability is frequency, and impact is severity. So the higher the frequency is, maybe the higher the probability of the risk to be happen, and the higher the severity, the bigger the impact is. That means that risk is high. Okay, it could be this basically this is like very basic risk assessment metrics that is what we be doing. So we can know that before we accepting the risk, the insurance company accepting the risk, they behind inside the company they will have underwriters in the operation side. So they will identify whether this risk is high, medium, or low. If it's low, low premium to be paid. If it's medium, yeah, low and high to be paid. And then if it's high risk, they need to send surveyors to make sure what kind of preventive measure, for example, in the house, whether they have the fire alarms, whether they have flood the drains to reduce the flood loss. Okay, whether they have what they call CCTV or things like that, any risk preventive measure. Okay, if they have that kind of measure, then the premium might be low. And then if they didn't have, maybe the house is made from wood, and then it's very prone to disasters, and definitely is they definitely going to high risk, and they're going to be high claim once it can be but once the house been once the house been burned down or something like that. So it's going to be high claims, high loss, so it is a high risk, right? So this is on the risk assessment metrics. Okay, next is okay, yes, risk is opportunity. Okay, we need to accept risk because it might be good, it might be not good. So whatever it is, we need to accept it and try to manage the risk to our based on our experience or based on our data or things like that. I'm gonna share with you guys what I've been doing in this industry. Or before I forgot to explain this. Okay, I think the Malaysian perspective always see agents, right? Because agents are in the marketing line, so they are the front enders of this industry. So we have actually similar to other businesses. This industry have us operation side, we have customer service, we have product development, we have accounts, we have customer service, and things like that. But what people see, insurance agents, which is there's a lot of things behind that. Okay, and as for myself, I've been attached to underwriting department in insurance company for a year last year. So when I was in underwriting, so basically underwriting is whether we need to accept the risk or not. That's why based on our expertise and based on the knowledge that we begin given, and also the data, we identify that the risk is we should accept or not. So if we accept, at what price? Okay. So underwriting, okay, based on my experience, I've been helping with the Greater China market, which been handling with China, Hong Kong, and also Taiwan, which these three countries are very prone to natural disasters such as typhoon, um, flood, droughts, and then now it's agriculture, and now it's health. So there's a lot of things happening because now the risk management is getting complicated because in this industry, traditional practices, we have been managing the potential losses. But now I think we need to manage the risk itself. Back to the original risk management technique, we need to join hands with the other four industries that have been doing reduction method, and the other three techniques, because I think insurance industry is only the risk transfer part, but we actually didn't really manage the risk itself. Maybe we actually helping the risk expanding, something like that. But actually we need to start, yeah, manage the risk, because now we've been relying on data and historical data, for example, and also the knowledge from the markets. And then from that knowledge, from that data, we decide our decision. But now it should be changed. I mean, even my company is restructuring the financial protections because it's not because of the climate change. Climate change is not new, right? But I think since the IPCC report, they've been pushing the governments, the sectors to do their parts. So that's what my company is also doing. Because I will show a video later. It says that even insurance company is actually helping in climate change, helping in contributing in climate change. Okay, I will show it the video later. So yeah, underwriting is now is getting complicated. We need to restructure. Okay, I will be based on the article now. Wait, okay, a moment. Okay, so this article from the link. Okay, I just highlight the important terms maybe. Okay,
Sorry. Then, are you sharing screen for the article?
yeah, can you see? No.
No. Currently, we're
Okay.
still on Canva.
Oh, okay, okay. A moment. Hmm. Okay, how about now?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good. So this is from the article. So I've been highlighting important statements. The first one is getting it right when tackling a global crisis. This is not a latest article. I think this is last year's articles for 2019, but it's still valid because the industry stuff, is actually exploring this solution. So from this article, we can know that our planet is battling with natural disasters such as hurricanes, typhoons, floods, and wildfire every year. So every year we have seasonal natural disaster. For example, like typhoon in China will be happening somewhere in September to October, and even like our the flood itself, and then apa tu okay, the flood, and so okay, the flood in Malaysia also have seasons, right? So yeah, because of that disasters, we will have the datas, the historical, because they will keep happening every year. So but now it is happening every year, yes, but it as and due to climate change, it increases the frequency and also the severity. So that is what happened. That's what we are restructuring, because we cannot actually rely on the data anymore. Maybe not totally rely on the data. We need to come up with modeling, new kinds of framework, new kinds of resilience to really helps in our decision making. So for example, and next, next, the society impact is due to the urbanizations. Yes, but because of how the denser the population is, the more population of the area is, the higher the exposure to the climate change. Okay, for example, like in China, they're exposed to natural disasters, right? But how they can manage the risk, because the exposure is very high. A lot of people there, so because they need to find, okay, once, for example, like typhoons happens, right? Once typhoon happen, what will happen next? Where these community will go? So they need to prepare the shelters, right? Prepare the shelters, and then what will happen to the agriculture, the crops? That is the major contribution of from China. So what will happen to them? So they need to do something with the agriculture and the crops. They need to, okay, once totally destroy once the typhoon destroys the crops, what will happen next? And then they will lose the food security, right? So what will happen? They need to do something with that. And then even agriculture insurance is quite new in this industry. I think in for Malaysia is also quite new, and then we've been exploring that. And now even my company just expanded their agriculture insurance in China, and also I think it's on Indian related countries. Yeah, because there's like the major portions of the food that being distributed in globally lah. Okay, so next is okay. So now the most important thing that we need to do is we need to understand the society to build a better resilience. Even though that research industry has been asking no it's been partnership with global companies from London, from US, to learn about their disasters resilience, their disasters modeling. But Malaysian itself, reinsurance in Malaysian itself, they need to understand what the needs in Malaysia society to adapt to the changes. Okay, next is say, so he gave the example on the coronavirus pandemic, and has made one thing clear, that it is the need to act early. So from this statement, I know that this is risk. Pandemic is also a risk. You know what happened now, right? The insurance industry it's not, I'm not saying scared. It's like they expanding their unprotected gap. So like more risk is happening, they do not want to cover. I mean, like, it's not they don't want to cover. I mean, like uh they they need a new data, a better data to make them very, what do you call it, um what do you call it? Okay, well, they need a new data to make decisions. So this is what I mean for example, like this pandemic, and then the market itself, the global market itself, like started to exclude the infectious disease clause. Like before ni tak ada pun, and then this time around they has like, okay, this time we need to reduce it because we do not know how much the claims will be. But then now it's getting better because the claims has been coming in, so they're taking in the accounts of this pandemic. But I'm not sure what is the next pandemic will happen, right? We cannot use this. Okay, maybe you can use this coronavirus data as a historical data for our pricing next time. But yeah, I'm not sure because it's getting complicated. So they need to actually, in terms of the awareness, the risk communication, and we need to also highlight solutions and provide partnerships. Okay, maybe the government would like to, for me, the government would like to, um, for example, like the plan, what do you call, after the vaccine things, what do you call it? Okay, the plan maybe they need to partnership with the sectors, for example, like the NGOs, maybe the insurance industry itself, to identify the best method to manage this pandemic risk in Malaysia itself. So yeah, they need to partnership with other things. Maybe they've been doing that. Okay, right? And then yeah, these nations have been need to have a very strong resilience to provide the best reason to provide the best protections in whatever they do. Okay. Okay. Countries that study previous events and put in place comprehensive plans help them increase their response rate. Yes, this is very important because that's why I said that it is important to understand the risk behavior and the character of the risk itself before we manage the risk. Okay, now for example, like I put here Netherlands. Okay, Netherlands has been said that it is very prone to floods because the geography of the Netherlands is like macam kat bawah ni. So if climate change is getting worse, dia macam akan tenggelam. Okay, so what they do is they've been doing they has the best flood risk management system. They've been doing dams. They've been doing they have a good system. I've been exploring this as well. So Netherlands has the best, is the world best flood risk management system. Even though they has the worst, they have the proneness. They have like exposed to the flood risk, the worst part lah. Because I think 2/3 of the Netherlands is exposed to flood. So yeah, so because of their plans, very good planning, they can build better resilience, so they can increase their response rate if, when the floods happen. Okay, so okay, before we go to this, maybe I'm going to okay a moment. Can you see my Canva again?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, this will be the video. Wait, before that, okay. I think everyone knows about the effects of the climate change. It will increase the temperature, increase the precipitation in terms of the rains, and then so the increase of the sea level rise, and with the impacts will be on our health, our natural areas, our water resources, agriculture, our coastal areas, and also the forest. I think everyone is aware of this. Okay. Okay, this is a video. Wait, this is a video of how insurance is actually contributing to climate change.
To build any new coal, oil, or gas project, fossil fuel companies need permits, money, and insurance. You may not think about insurance as a major driver of climate change, but these companies are fueling the climate crisis in two crucial ways. They provide insurance coverage for coal plants, tar sands pipelines, and fracking wells. Without insurance, these projects can't be built or operate. Insurance companies also take their customers' money, the money you and I pay for car and life insurance, and invest it in fossil fuel companies so more destructive projects can be built. Insurers know that climate change is here and that they're on the hook to pay for the damage it's causing. But instead of ditching fossil fuels, they're withdrawing coverage from communities on the front lines of climate change. Tell the nation's leading insurance companies to put communities first and stop insuring.
So as you can see from this video, it's like how insurance company helping, it's not helping, contributing to the climate change actually, because they've been investing in protections and also investing in this kind of project that leads to climate change impact. So I think they need to start investing in green assets, and also maybe if they still want to invest in these projects, maybe they have to put some penalty, higher premium. I'm not sure, because they've been like finding solution for this now. Okay. So natural disaster examples. Okay, we have landslides, floods, haze, earthquakes, typhoon, hurricanes, volcano eruption, also the wildfires. So this is happening every year now. Maybe not every year, maybe every 2 years actually. So even in insurance industry, we have catastrophic modeling. So this is because we cannot rely on data, they need to use catastrophic modeling. So they've been doing like for 200 years, how many times this maybe for 200 years, how many times hurricanes will happen. So yeah, they've been doing this for their pricing matter. Okay, what is catastrophe? Catastrophe is like, for example, if earthquakes and tsunamis come together, so that is called catastrophe. It's going to be a higher risk, right? And then we get higher impacts because of this two disasters. And then catastrophe also can be refers to this coronavirus is also catastrophic because it's something new and we cannot actually handle right away because we don't have any historical strategy to actually manage this kind of risk. So this is called also pandemic. Also is catastrophic group. Okay. So next is disaster risk management. Under disaster risk management, we have four basic techniques. First, we need to prevent, and then we prevent, knowledge, prepare, and recover. So preventive. So maybe to reduce disasters, we need to prevent by adhering the building codes. Maybe we can use bricks instead of woods, and then provide preventive measures. I will explain later on what's actually reinsurance industry is being preparing now for their preventive measures, not only Malaysia, maybe globally. Next, knowledge, basically education and awareness, the importance of not only insurance but also these kind of disasters, because I think like dulu I think they would like to. There's some areas in Malaysia they would like to it is flood prone areas, but they don't want to build flood trains there because that is their property. So they need maybe the government, also the insurance industry, will like to give some awareness to the society there on the importance of drains, for example, and also the importance of getting financial protections on for their own benefits, right? Next is preparing, providing shelters and aids. Contohnya macam the latest one is the flood in Kedah, right? So they already provided a shelter. If the floods are where they're going to need to be transferred. And then lastly is the recovering part. This is the most important part, is where the reinsurance industry comes by providing a financial protection to reinstate the buildings, maybe the house being damaged from, for example, from flood. And then there will be a huge damage, right? And then they will reinstate, they will pay the claims, and then the person itself can actually build again the house and also the things inside the house. So this is very important things. And then yeah, we must join hands, not only insurance industry and also the disaster management like NATMA, and also the government itself. We need to partners one another to know about the risk from the society itself, and then the insurance industry can actually produce more products that can be purchased by any levels of community. Okay. And this is only a video on disaster risk management.
This is a city like many others. Like those others, this city is vulnerable to climate change and natural disasters. In the last 30 years, floods, droughts, cyclones, earthquakes, and other natural disasters have killed an estimated 2.3 million people and caused $3.5 trillion in economic damage, leaving places like this devastated for years after a disaster occurs. It doesn't have to be this way. If our city had invested in preventative measures like early warning systems for cyclones, resilient housing, building codes, seawalls to prevent storm surge, or more resilience-minded planning, when the natural disaster struck, the damage could have been much less. Investing in climate and disaster resilience may seem like a high upfront expense, but the benefits clearly outweigh the costs. A single disaster can cost up to 3 to 6% of a developing country's GDP, wiping out years of development gains the country has worked hard to attain. This is important now, of course, but climate change is increasing the probability and severity of disasters every year, in addition to posing increasing and serious threat to our agricultural production and health of the population. Not only that, but there are many other trends that increase vulnerability. More at-risk populations, more concentrated assets, and unplanned cities. Risk increases on a daily basis. If we don't invest in resilience now, cities like this simply won't survive. We need to invest in climate and disaster resilience, not only in infrastructure, but across all sectors, including transportation, energy, agriculture, education, health, gender, housing, and livelihoods. Please visit our website to learn more.
So from the videos, we know that how important it is to have the financial Malaysia to have this huge financial capacity to produce to invest in disaster risk management in any in any aspects. So yeah, so this is where actually also reinsurance industry need to help them to provide the best method on building a disaster risk management. Okay, next is I'm going to share with you guys Ring of Fire. Maybe you have heard of this. So Malaysia is safe from the Ring of Fire, safe from earthquakes and things like that, because we are not in within the Ring of Fire. So Malaysia is located in here somewhere. So this is the Ring of Fire. I have a video from that maybe for you, just for information.
Tracking breaking news out of Indonesia.
As you know, when it comes to non-financial disasters, Malaysia is a pretty safe place to be. You got earthquakes in Southeast Asia, like in Indonesia, Myanmar, and the Philippines, and all that's because of a thing called the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is a major area that many earthquakes and volcanic eruptions happen in. Earthquakes happen when the tectonic plates that form the Earth collide or stick to each other. And a lot of these movements happen in the cracks of the Earth, known as faults, which line up all around the region, except here in Malaysia. In fact, we even got volcanoes, but they're sleeping ones, so they're cool. Literally. The only place in Malaysia that is kind of in the Ring of Fire is Sabah, which is closest to the tectonic border. So that's part of the reason why we had earthquakes in Kota Kinabalu. But that's not the only disaster that this region is prone to. We're also prone to tropical cyclones. And yet again, our country's strategic location saves us, since the structure of the continent actually makes it too weak to stir up storms because of Malaysia's low latitude. So all these hotspots form around the region, but conveniently, once again, miss Malaysia. So now let's take that picture of the earthquakes and the Ring of Fire, and we take the other one with the cyclones in the regions, and when we combine them, whoa, lucky! Now remember, stay calm and be grateful for Malaysia's strategic location. No wonder last minute.
So yeah, from this video, I just show you the Ring of Fire why Malaysia is safe, because it is because of their strategic locations. And okay, so how does reinsurance industry helps in mitigating climate impacts? Since that we have been exploring the solutions now, the first thing we can do is parametric insurance is it's a parameter based. Contohnya, for example, like earthquake or maybe like landslides. Okay, landslides have been happening, and then they put some measures like if this kind of I'm going to be a bit simpler on this. Maybe flood. Okay, they will have like this kind of level, measure levels like a ruler, and then if floods happen, and then once it hits a meter, and then these whole areas will totally be paid out with the insurance claims. So the function of the parametric insurance is it will increase the payment payout lah. So maksudnya before ni lama kalau nak the claimant to be made is very long. They need to hantar surveyors and all that to make sure that okay, you purchase the insurance, and then you the insurance level from the flood that happening in this property is this area, this meter. But now from the parametric based insurance is much easier for both parties, for the society itself and so for the for the insurance itself. So next is on agriculture pool. So even like back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, the Malaysia government has been collaborating with Malaysia the insurance company to provide agriculture pools to help the society in needs in agriculture funds, because every year happening the floods, right? So they need to do something to reinstate their claims 100%. It's not only like, okay, ever since every year it's been happening, the flood. So, for example, they can only claim for 50,000 ringgit, but the loss is 100,000 ringgit. So, the insurance industry comes in to help that they can actually claims in 100,000 ringgit in total. Okay, and also the important thing is now is been doing the technology been implementing drones. So they need to drones will help in calculating the area, how many how big the area that been impact with the flood.
This
Okay,
is
okay, wait. Gonna quickly back to the article. Wait a moment. Okay, so yeah, so the insurance industry been using data and also data technology, which is very important. We can't wait for certainties, and that's why we cannot rely on data anymore because there is very now is getting uncertain. And yeah, we can see from the this article is Typhoon Hagibis and Faisal is being like the biggest loss. And now even like my insurance company, I'm not sure I can say that. I mean like if insurance company that been protecting this area of Hagibis and Faisal has been not completely belum totally habis lah the claims because it's getting like every year akan ada banyak-banyak claims that related to this Hagibis Faisal, which is locating in Japan. Okay, yes. Rate of uninsured losses. This is what we're happening now is the reinsurance industry goals is actually to reduce the protection gap. We want to protect everything from pandemic to natural disaster, not to provide limits, not to provide exclusion. So that's what they happening to because of this disasters happening, the gap is getting widened. So we don't want to do that anymore. So that's actually they need to restructure their practice. um, okay, yeah. So the insurance industry role in reducing risk is first to close the protection gap. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that, but we need risk expertise in any aspect from marine, aviation, property, engineers, and then we need from health segments, everything that could be impact on the communities, companies, and also the individuals itself. So because of this data that we collect from the risk expertise from any areas, so we can the insurance industry itself can able to produce new products, new can penetrate new markets to provide more protections. And yeah, so we need to understand the patterns to write the models, also the resilience framework. Okay, yep, we need to work with any partners, I mean, not only locally, maybe globally, which where the expertise are. And so all of this is for the better outcomes, better resilience, because reinsurance industry, we are the worst absorbers of risk, and they need to understand to manage the risk, to understand the characters and behavior of the risk, the behavior of the natural disaster, and how to quantify the risk and put them in decision making. Okay. Yep. The most important thing is they need to understand the scientific assessment, putting in the business mindset. Yep. Okay. Yeah. From this statement, we can see that we need to be partner not only from government but also any public sectors, any organizations that been doing disaster risk reduction or getting the knowledge or getting the data to provide better protections for the country. And yeah. So every country has their own what you call strengths, has their own contributions. For example, like in Malaysia itself, we have been doing for agriculture pools. For Indonesia, they have been doing for protecting their public assets, critical public assets. So if comes, they will not be doing if there's like importance assets, they will be totally protected. Okay. So the most important thing is for tonight is yes, data can help to improve how we quantify the risk. So I think my question is, should we innovating traditional practices are necessary? Yes, we need to innovate traditional practice to actually provide better resilience, provide better protections, and just adapt to the changes, not only to rely on data and which is uncertain forever. Okay, I think that's it from me.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Dana, for a very long and
Yeah, it's just long. So
ah,
sorry.
no, I'm not done yet. For a very long and packed explanation about reinsurance and also climate change and how both of it affects each other. If anyone have a question, please just leave it in the in the chat box. In the meantime, um, I have a question. I think I missed a point, or like maybe it slips out of my memory. But let me just ask it again. Does that mean reinsurance is supposed to be paid by the government or the company?
Oh, okay, okay. Or the reinsurance.
Yeah, the
So the
reinsurance.
reinsurance be okay. So basically, reinsurance company is
Mm-hmm.
covering the businesses from insurance company. So the premium to be paid by the insurance company to get protections from the reinsurance company. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So kalau for example like the agriculture pools right now, just now.
Mm-hmm.
So the government will pay for the for to the insurance company to provide the pools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then maybe for insurance company itself, we are the owner of the house. We pay to the insurance company to provide to get the protections. So it's like from insurance, reinsurance. Maybe that's why the society doesn't know about reinsurance company because
Mm.
people not see that because we've been doing we helping protections what they call it protection for the insurance company. So we'll be dealing with insurance company basically.
Mm-hmm. So that is why this reinsurance is not talked enough publicly because it's dealing with like um, kind of macam on the inside je,
Yeah.
but it's still protecting everyone,
Yep. And
not
also,
just.
yep, correct. And then the insurance industry, most of the insurance industry are the expertise or the risk expertise. So basically, they have went to insurance industry, and then they go to the insurance industry. So most of them are from the underwriters from them. The insurance industry are much more experts in this kind of risk.
Mm,
Yeah,
I
because they have
see.
bigger accounts to be handled, bigger figures to be handled, right? So bigger risk to be handled. Yeah.
Interesting. I think we have a question from Mahira. How can NGO like us or just any other NGOs involved with this help or yeah, like you did mention
Oh.
just now NGOs and organizations and all that. So how can we help?
Okay, the most important thing in climate change is actually the risk communications. What is actually advocates and activists being doing now? Maybe we can choose one industry. Maybe we can help. Back then, I was volunteered for environment, terrapin conservations.
Mhm.
So they've been struggling in this pandemic. How they can continue to develop their cause right in Malaysia. So they've been doing fundraising things like that. So maybe we can insurance company actually has this kind of financial protection for NGO. I'm not
Oh.
sure in Malaysia has that kind of things, but yeah, I believe they have. So this is will be under business, so they'll be handling on the protections. Maybe they will be covering on. Okay, they will have the business continuity insurance. So for example, like even so in this pandemic, contoh like 3 bulan tak boleh operate, right? So if they have insurance protections, they will be providing all those losses for the 3 months of not being operated, 3 months of what they call profits plus the cost. So they'll be okay the next fourth month, right?
Yeah.
So that's important. So maybe for NGO, maybe we need to focus on select one industry that you wanted to help, maybe for environmental impact. So check on what they need, what are they be handling, and then just speak on the risk, and then try to find the highlights and try to highlight the solutions, because I think most of us, uh, yeah, because we are exploring, we're not experts, but yeah, I think the most important thing is to highlight the solutions to push the any industry that would like to take this on. Yeah, because now like the insurance industry right now, the underwriters are like 40s to 60s age, circle of age. So they maybe not have that kind. This our risk is different from them. So
Mm-mm-mm.
maybe our younger generations or now we are exploring, right?
Mm.
So we try to provide solutions to them so they can actually tackle together lah. Not so we can change adapt to the change. Yeah.
Understood.
So that.
I did not think that this topic would be this serious. I mean, it 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 feels like I'm in a class right now, not in a bad way, obviously, because this is a very fresh and new knowledge that I'm getting. Like I never even thought like all this kind of insurance and then reinsurance
Mm,
exists.
yeah.
So I think everyone has benefit this session in that way that now we are aware of it. And
Mm,
then we are in an NGO, so you also have provided an example of how we can help. So in a way, uh, all of us have a knowledge about it, and even if we're not gonna use it like now or like in the short, like next year or next 2 years, at least in the future we are aware of it. We know that this exists and we can help in some sort of ways.
yep.
So any other question for Diana about the topic that we just discussed just now? It's actually a super interesting topic, but of course, one I think the fact that we only have the session for 1 hour, we can't really discuss it into more details of it.
Mm,
But
yep.
it's an interesting topic. May I know? Do you when you said you're a graduate from UITM Malang, right? Puncak Alam,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
and you were studying business administration.
Yeah. Major
Okay.
in insurance.
Okay. Did you guys actually learn about this, or like you only knew about this when you work when you start working?
Yo, I didn't know about this at all, about the catastrophe things and the exposure. Basically, I know about floods and things, but I know like just like that. And then when I started handle the accounts, and oh my god, there's a lot of things I need to explore. And then,
Mm,
then now comes the climate change. Oh my god, there's not a lot of many things to need to explore. So yeah, I mean it's quite interesting because insurance is like the general insurance is not only recovering property, we only
mm,
property of marine ships, hulls,
yeah.
and then airplanes, yeah, things like that.
Understood.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Okay, I think we have reached towards the end of our session, and I believe there's no other questions for Miss Diana. So I would like to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Don't forget our reading club is every Friday, 9 to 10 p.m. And don't forget to follow our social medias, especially our Instagram, because we post a lot of announcements and we share a lot of infos there. And thank you so much to our guest speaker, Miss Nurdayana, for wanting to share with us this knowledge.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So
Thank you.
all right. So have a good weekend, everyone, and stay safe. And thank you so much. You guys may leave the meeting now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.